In this video, I'm peeling back the secret side hustle I use to retire my husband. You can do it completely from home as a side hustle. Here's my story. So a few years back, I was looking for a way to make some part-time income from home. I had a 2-year-old with a new baby on the way. I was like 7, 8 months pregnant, and I knew that I didn't want to go to work just to put my kids in daycare. I lived in Northern Virginia. It was a super crazy expensive place to live, and it was going to cost a lot of money to put my kids in daycare. Literally, I'd be working just to put them in daycare. And that's not what I wanted, right? Like I wanted to be at home with them and I wanted to be able to be there if they were sick or once they got older to go to their games and their field trips and all of that. Like I wanted to have that, but we needed cash. We were living in a basement apartment with one window, like this easy bake oven. We literally had to cut our frozen pizzas in half in order to fit them in the oven. It was ridiculous. And my husband was commuting an hour to and from work each way. And so I'm just remember that feeling of sitting in the basement thinking, like, there's got to be more than this. Like, there has to be another way. That's when a friend suggested that I look into virtual assistants. And I honestly had never even heard of a virtual assistant. I had no idea what a VA was, but I scoured the internet that night and found out that a virtual assistant is essentially like an admin that works remotely. So I could do administrative, technical, creative services for small business owners, but it was completely on my own time, my own schedule. I set my rate. I would decide my services. The more I found out about this, I'm like, I think I could do this, right? And I had tried other jobs. I had tried selling jeans. Like I would go to thrift stores and buy jeans and resell them online. I would buy and sell textbooks. And I realized that none of these were super sustainable. They weren't scalable. They all really relied on me and my time and lugging like my 2-year-old and a bag full of textbooks to the post office, which was not fun. And so none of these were really like sustainable, scalable options. But with virtual assistants, I was able to do things like data entry and answering customer service emails and scheduling social media for my clients. And I started learning how to blog and I would write blogs for my clients. And before I knew it, I was making $30, $40, $50 an hour working from home on my own time. And I had so much work that I decided to hire my other mom friends. So for the social media, I had a friend named Jessica who had made the graphics for her band in college. And so I said, hey, if I teach you how to do this social media thing, like how to make graphics for my client, would you do that? So she would do the graphics. She'd pass them on to me. I'd pass them on to my clients. And I actually built this little mini agency from my basement apartment as a pregnant mom. We started seeing the money come into our bank, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month. And I remember the day that I looked at my husband and I asked him and I was like, are you okay if I make more money than you do? Which he said an overwhelmingly yes. He was very much okay with that. It was actually really amazing. A few years later when my husband lost his job, it would have been this really, really difficult time for us that I was able to look at him and be like, you don't actually have to go back to work if you don't want to. Like we were making enough just through this incredible opportunity. So that's my story. And so if you're sitting here and you're like, that's really cool, Abby, but how would I do the same thing? I actually broke it down into 8 steps. So let's get into those. But first, I do have a free training that I made on this as well. It's called Become a Booked Out Virtual Assistant. You can go to thevirtualsavvy.com/BBO if you want to check that out. All right, let's get into those 8 steps. Step number 1 is to decide on the services that you're going to offer as a virtual assistant. Like I mentioned, when I first started out, I didn't have a lot of advanced technical knowledge. So I just started with things that I knew how to do. I could answer customer service emails. I could schedule a social media post. I could do data entry or research or calendar management. I was comfortable enough with writing. I always enjoyed English in high school. So I said I could blog for somebody. I could send out invoices or do appointment setting phone calls. Like these were the things I could do. So I just started with what I knew. Step number 2 is to choose your hourly rate and put that into packages. So for me, I started at $30 an hour and then I created 3 packages. For instance, a small business owner could buy a package of 10 hours for the month for $300 or 20 hours per month for $600 or 40 hours per month for $1,200, that 40 hours a month was still only 10 hours of work for me. And again, I was a stay-at-home mom, so I didn't have a ton of time. 10 to 15 hours was really all that I could work. So once I had sold more packages than I could physically work, that's when I started bringing in subcontractors to do the work for me. Clients would still be paying me $30, $40 an hour. I did eventually raise my rates to closer to $40 an hour. And then I would be paying my friends $15 an hour, which worked out really well for them. Again, they were able to make money working from home on their own schedule, doing something they enjoyed doing, but they didn't have what I was doing of having to deal with clients and do marketing and all of that. So it was really great for them being a subcontractor, and then I was making money for every hour that they worked. So step number 3, after you've created your pricing and your packaging, is decide how much time you can commit to the business. For me, as a new mom, I knew that my time was flexible, but I really wanted to have devoted time. So that meant one day a week, I asked a friend, hey, how about I watch your kids on Mondays, you watch my kids on Wednesdays, right? So I had a full dedicated day. And that would be one of my biggest pieces of advice, is to have some devoted time, not just distracted time. And if you're a mom, you know the difference between time when your kids are like, give me juice or whatever, versus you really able to sit down and focus. And so that might be waking up early, working during a lunch break at a 9 to 5. For me, it was asking for help, right? From my mother-in-law at the time, or from my husband. Can I go, you watch the kids while I'm waking up early on Saturday, or doing this babysitting swap thing, whatever it might look like for you. You have to decide how many hours. I would suggest if you don't have at least 5 hours a week, then this might not be for you. You might need to move some things around in your schedule. Again, for me, 10 to 15 hours was kind of my sweet spot of how much I could work. And then anything above that, I sent on to the subcontractors that I hired. Step number 4 is to choose a name for your business. Now, at this point, I have trained a lot of other people how to do this process, and I have seen a lot of people get stuck on this part because it's it feels so final, right? But I would really encourage you not to overthink this. I was able to build my business, completely replace my income and my husband's income with the name Ashley Assistants. My last name's Ashley. That's really not that creative. So don't feel bad if you don't come up with the most creative name in the world. Just think of something, just get started. There are processes, which, I teach people in my course now of how to make sure that do you need the LLC? Do you trademark it or not? Do you make sure that you're not infringing on somebody else's trademark? Things that you should do, get your domain, and make sure that that domain is available. There are things that you should do once you choose your name, but really just coming up with the final decision. What is my business going to be called? All right, I've gone over 4 of the 8 steps. What questions do you have for me? My team and I answer every single one of these comments. So if you do have a question about how to get started as a virtual assistant or any of the steps I've covered so far, make sure you let me know in the comments below. All right, step number 5 is to decide on your processes. What I mean by that is when a client says, yes, I want to hire you, now what do you do, right? So I would just suggest doing this before you go out and start getting clients, is know what the process is going to look like. So for instance, that can look like a discovery call where they'll book a 20 or 30-minute call with you for you to talk about their needs as a business owner, what you have, for you to present your pricing and your packaging, and for them to actually agree. Once they've said, yes, I want to work with you, you're going to want to send a contract and an invoice. I recommend getting payment up front. For instance, if you had that package of 10 hours for the month, $300, you would go ahead and invoice them the $300. If it's the 15th of the month, you can set up a reoccurring invoice that will charge them the 15th of the next month, another $300, and then on and on. And that's the beauty of virtual assistants, is that it's monthly reoccurring income, right? Most virtual assistants can replace their income with 4 to 7 clients. So unlike a lot of other businesses, if I was selling hair bows on Etsy or, building an e-commerce store, you would need hundreds or thousands of people to say yes. And with virtual assistants, you literally need 4 people to say yes to replace your income, which is mind blowing to me because it's that monthly reoccurring income. So you can set up that monthly reoccurring invoice. I use Wave apps for that. I can link to it below this video. It's really easy to set up and just to send those monthly invoices out. All right, step number 6 is to set up your legalities. I mentioned a contract before. I cannot stress this enough. Please, 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 please have a contract. Even if you're working with your sister or your mother-in-law, have a contract. It will protect you, it protects the clients, and it really sets out the terms of what it's going to look like to work with you. So You want to have a really rock solid contract in place. And then anything else that you need to be a legal business, right? Are you going to set up an LLC? You can contact your local chamber of commerce to see if there are any other, special certificates or licenses or anything that you need for the county that you live in to run an at-home business. Make sure that they know it's all virtual, you're not having clients come into your home or anything like that. But any other state, local, legal requirements that you need to have, this is the time to do it. You can also set up a bank account, which I fully recommend having all of that separate from your personal account. And normally at local banks, you can set up a lot of times free business account with just an EIN number. So Google, get an EIN number. You don't have to pay to do it. It's free. So don't let anyone charge you to get an EIN number. You can get that EIN number and then use that to go set up a separate bank account. Step number 7 is that you want to set up your goals as action steps. So you have to decide, where do I want this business to go? Like, what is your goal? Is your goal to replace your income? Is your goal to retire your husband with your part-time side hustle, right? Like, what is your goal? Go ahead and set that out and say, hey, I want to be making $3,000 a month in 3 months or 6 months, or I want to be making $10,000 a month by the end of this year. Whatever it is, what is your goal? Go ahead and write it out and then work backwards. So if I wanted to make $10,000 by the end of the year, I would, go ahead and do a 12 months of goals. And month 1, it would be like setting up my business. Month 2, I would start marketing. By month 3, I want to get my first client, or, maybe sooner, right? You can do a lot of that very, very quickly. So go ahead and set up your goals and then make your goals into actual action steps. Like, if I know my goal this month is to get my business set up, then I'm going to actually action step it out. And this is what I'm doing this month so that I'm able to focus on my next goal in month 2. All right, step number 8 is to start marketing your business. Yay, we can start telling people about this new business that you've started. Now, with the VAs that I work with inside of my program, the Savvy system, I have seen that people get nervous to market, right? But the thing is that once you have all these other steps behind you, there's a lot more confidence that comes. I have found that if you're still on step 1, it seems really overwhelming to start telling people about your business. But once you've chosen your business name, decided on your services, you've made this cool graphic that shows people what your services are, you have set up that bank account, you've done a lot of the stuff, it really comes with a confidence. It's like, man, I worked this hard. Yes, I can go out and start telling people about my business. And that's why I think it's really important to do these other steps before you, get out and start announcing it. I mean, you can tell people ahead of time, hey, here's what I'm going to be doing. But before your business is live and is launched, do these other steps, because it's really going to help you build that confidence of yes, I can do this. Now, I get questions all the time, how do I actually start marketing my business? So if you want to know how to market your business, I recommend going to thevirtualsavvy.com/BBO. It's a free 60-minute training I put together called Become a Booked Out Virtual Assistant, and it's going to tell you everything you need to know on how to actually get clients. I include my favorite places for where to find clients inside of this training, so I know you're going to love it. All right, that's it. That's all I have for you in today's video. I hope that you learned something new, and I want to know in the comments below, what step are you going to take action on today? Let me know and know that I am here rooting you on. That's all I have for today. Have a good one.